Hello, I want to welcome you. A very good morning, a very good afternoon, and a very good evening, depending on the time you are listening to this presentation. My name is Anthony Ahenkra Sapon, and I am privileged to speak to you, being the CEO of Supreme Group of Businesses. I'll be speaking to you in this presentation about Supreme Investment Policy System. Now, I would want to begin by talking about a little profile about myself. My name is Anthony Ahenkra Sapon, just as I said. I am the CEO of Supreme Group. I completed the University of Cape Coast in the year 2020. It is the same year, it is in that same year I began my business exploits. And it's been 2 years of successfully being in business, and the Lord has been really faithful with me, giving me access to many sectors in the business field. Out of this business prospect and exploits, I have been able to build 5 businesses, which I'll be naming and talking about them briefly to explain this new policy and what it hinges on. Now, the first business on the list is Supreme Beverages. Now, Supreme Beverages is a business that looks at producing and selling local beverages on the student market. I wouldn't have so much time to go into the details. The second one on the list is Supreme Transport. We are running a transport system in Koforidua in the eastern region, a very hot cake for a specified transport service, which I wouldn't have much time to give details on. We have Supreme Skincare and Beauty Services. We also have on the list Supreme School of Entrepreneurship, where we are into teaching of entrepreneurship courses in graphic designing, business marketing, and so many other prospects as well. And then the last on the block is Ahimans Farms and Cultivation. We are into cultivation, and in this year 2023, we have labeled this year as a business group, the year of farming, where we'll be going into so much into agriculture. I don't have much time to, just as I said, to go into the details. Now let's talk about Supreme Investment Policy System. Not to waste much time, let's talk about Supreme Investment Policy System. Now, the vision of Supreme Investment Policy System is to give an opportunity to young people who would want to build capital over time or build their financial stability as early as possible, to be able to have something substantial in cash or in monetary terms that can support their vision, whether they want to be entrepreneurs, whether they want to further their education, anything that they want to do. You would understand that we live in a country where we don't really have so many financial opportunities, especially for the young people, especially for people who are coming up. And so there are 2 major ways of making money. The first one is to work and then earn, and the second one is to invest for your money to bring you more returns. So there are 2 main streams. There are other streams, but the major ones is earning, that is working and earning yourself or putting your money to work. But if you are looking at the young people, most of us are still in our educational cycle, and we don't have the luxury of time, the luxury, even the business without the business techniques and skills to do so much when it has to do with making money. And so for some of us, whom by the grace of God we have become prospects and good prospects and have gathered experience over these years in business and in the business that we are doing, we are saying that you might not have the luxury of time. You might not even have any business idea now. But Supreme Investment Policy System envisions you as somebody who can build capital over time. And so what we are saying in Supreme Investment Policy System is that you can give us your investment, or you can give us your money. As a working business group, we are going to work with your money, pay you interest that is due on your capital, or the money you have given to us. And that interest would accumulate over time to build the capital that you would need after school, or after you are ready to start something, you have the capital ready available for you. So now let's go into the details of Supreme Investment Policy System. Now, Supreme Investment Policy System is saying that if you are going to invest into this policy with amount that is 500 CEDIS and above, we are going to be paying you 7% every month on that principal. 7% every month on that principal. If your investment falls below 500 CEDIS, we are giving you 6.5%. If your investment falls above 500 or 500 and above, it is 7%. 500 and below, it is 6.5%. Now let's do the calculation in monetary terms, the breakdown in monetary terms. Now, for example, if you invest 1,000 CEDIS, that is money that is above 500 CEDIS, so you will attract the 7% rate. Now 7% is 0.07 times 1,000 CEDIS would give you 70 CEDIS every month. So it means that if you invest 1,000 CEDIS, at the end of every month you are going to be paid 70 Ghana cedis. That is how the policy is. So if you are doing it for 12 months, that is 1 year, cumulatively the 70 cedis times 12 will give you 840 Ghana cedis. 840 Ghana cedis. But our policy comes with a condition that says that if you do not withdraw any interest of yours from the beginning of the year to the end, in the whole of the 12 months, if you don't do any withdrawal, that cumulative profit that you have gathered in the system would also work and bring you an additional rollover interest of 160 cedis to add up to your 840 cedis, giving you 1,000 cedis. So it means that when you do 1,000 at the beginning of the year, by the last month of the year, your accumulated interest without withdrawal would have gotten to another 1,000 cedis. So if you invest 1,000 at the end of the year, you are getting another 1,000 in interest. Your principal is still there for grabs. Now, the second thing that is worth noting in this policy is that the policy runs for every 200 days. And because it's an investment, anytime you are thinking investment, think long term. Investment simply is building your money over time, growing your money over time, putting your money in an incubation for it to mature over time. So everything that is talked about in the concept of investment is all about time. It's all about long term. And because most young people wouldn't have the tenacity to keep their money for longer times, that's why our policy has been drafted to favor your needs and to favor you, that our policy only runs for 200 days, that is 6 months. Now, if you're looking at 200 days, what can you do as an investor in 200 days? In 200 days only do you have access to your principal. When I talk about principal, the money you have invested, you can have access to come and withdraw some of the money. You can have access to come and even withdraw all the money and terminate the contract and say you will not do the policy again after every 200 days. But with your interest that need to be paid to you at the month, it will be paid to you directly on your command. You have power to control what your interest should do. So some of you will suggest that their interest should be kept and it should be allowed to work an additional rollover interest to add up to the raw interest that you are getting. Others will say, pay me my interest at the end of the month, which will be adhered to just as the command of the investor would be. But for the principal, which is the actual money you have invested, which is not the interest, you can only touch it after every 200 days. And the other thing that is also worth noting is that Supreme Investment Policy System gives you the flexibility as an investor to top up on your principal every month. And that happens in the first week of the month and the last week, the first week of every new month and the last week of the old month. So between that 2 weeks, you have the power to top up on your principal. Let me explain further what I mean by topping up. Now, when I talk about a top up, maybe you started in January and you started with 500 cedis in January. Now, in February, you can also top up your money. In the last week of January or the first week of February, you can come and top up and add 200 cedis to it, making it 700. Now your principal is no more 500. So if you received interest on 500 at the end of the first month, which was January, now that you have topped up in February, your interest will increase from the one you received in January. So for example, if you had 500 in January, at the end of the month you are getting 35 cedis as interest in January. And in February, the first week, you did a top up of another 500 cedis. That means that your principal has increased from 500 to 1,000. So now that you are at 1,000, at the end of February, you are going to get 70 Ghana cedis. There has been an increase, and that flexibility is there for you to top up anytime. That is how the system operates. Now, the next thing that I would want to talk about is the minimum required amount. Now, Supreme Investment Policy System wants to make its policy and its system very flexible, even for low-income earners, people who don't have a lot of money, because young people may not be working. Most of us might be students, and the income that is coming is just for our upkeep. So we have lowered our interest requirements to 100 Ghana cedis. So with just 100 Ghana cedis, you can sign up for this policy and then you are good to go. If you are doing 100 Ghana cedi, you can do the calculation for yourself how much the 7% on 100 cedis will fare with you in a month. Now that is our minimum requirements wage is 100 Ghana cedis. All right. So now that I have described the most important details in the Supreme Investment Policy System, let me give you the most important of it all. Now, when you are doing investment as an investor, one question you need to ask yourself is, what protects my money? What guarantees the safety of my money? What would ensure that my money will not go to a loss or will not go waste? This is one important question that any investment you are doing everywhere in the world, you need to ask yourself. That wherever I'm putting that money in, what is going to ensure that my money does not go waste or is not lost? Now, this is what Supreme Investment Policy System has that is above many investment opportunities that you might come across. Many people have put their money in online businesses and they have lost their investment because they fail to ask this single question that I'm going to answer. Who is going to be held accountable when I lose my money? When the business, when there are losses, who is going to pay my money back? What is protecting my money? What is the insurance cover of my money? And that is what the Supreme Investment Policy System is going to address in this policy. Now, Supreme Investment Policy System, I told you, is under a business group called Supreme Group of Businesses. And these businesses are 5 different subsidiary businesses working in different fields with different types of assets, which we have labeled in our contract document. So if you want to sign up, you'll be given a contract document. I'll talk about that subsequently. So these assets is what we are using to protect your investment. So in our contract document, we have stated explicitly in red color typing that our assets, whether be it vehicles, whether be it cars, whatever assets we have as a business, we are using those assets as collateral cover, protection for your money. What do we mean by that? We are saying that our assets are being used as protection for your investment and insurance for your investment. It means that in the event that your money is lost, we have signed and you have signed in a contract document that says that we need to sell our assets to pay you off, so you are safe. Now, the pressure is now on us as a business group to deliver, because we have signed a contract with people and we have told those people that if we fail not to pay their monies to them, our assets should be sold to pay them off. And if that is the case, the pressure is now on us as a business group to deliver on our mandate and our contract. So if you are investing with Supreme Group, there is no risk. All the liabilities are being borne by the company, the firm. So you are safe. And all these things, all the assets we have has been labeled in our contract document, which you'll be given if you start the registration. Now, this will move me on to the last on the list in this presentation, which is the registration procedure. Now, there are 2 main ways you can sign up for Supreme Investment Policy System. If you are a distance person and you can't meet us one-on-one, you can do an online registration. And it's simple. When you want to do an online registration, we will send you our forms, a PDF of our forms and our contract documents. So first you take the contract document and you read through. When you read the contract document and all the terms and conditions in the contract document satisfies your needs, meets your needs, and you accept them, then you would communicate to us that you have accepted the contract. Then you can request for a registration form, which will be sent to you when you are doing the online. The registration form will be sent to you. So when the registration form is sent to you, the registration form has already been signed and sealed by myself, being the CEO of the business. So when the registration form hits you, then you have to go and print the registration form, fill in your details, and then all the details that we are asking, you fill in it, and then you scan that document and send it back to me, or send it back to my agent, or send it back to anybody who is part of the business. So when we receive your document, then we would then allow you to make payment. And so the payment would be taken through mobile money system, or anyhow you want to make the payments. We can then negotiate how payments will be made and the medium through which the payment will be made. Now, when payment is complete, the last thing that we are going to give to you is what we call a business secret identity code, which will be different from every investor. That identity code is what you are going to use to do your withdrawal. It is working with the same concept like a mobile money PIN. So you'll be given a unique PIN or a unique code that you keep safe from the reach of anybody, because that is what you are going to use to do your withdrawal. That is the last security code that we will use, so that nobody can come and withdraw money in your name. The person has to have the code before he can withdraw money. So that is how the system is designed to be. Now, the second way is to do the one-on-one. And for the one-on-one, we don't have so many agents available, especially if you are on other campuses. Our head office is at UCC, so our agents mostly are on UCC or University of Cape Coast campus. If you're a student in UCC, it will be quite simple to meet our agent, and then you meet our agent, and then our agent would print the forms and everything. You fill in the details, and then we do the transaction like the same. You make the payment and everything, and then you are good to go. Now, one thing that is so much special about our registration is that there is a section on the registration that asks for you to allow a witness to sign. So it is 3 people who will be signing the contract document. The investment firm, which is myself, will sign, and then you, the investor, will sign, coupled with a witness of your own choosing. So the witness is the person who bears attestation that you have given us money. So we have given you all the legal advantage that in the case that there are issues and it has to be legally solved, you have the advantage as an investor, because on the contract documents and on the forms, a witness will sign bearing attestation that you have given us money. So it is a policy drafted to protect you as an investor. And so that is the conclusion of Supreme Investment Policy System. And I hope this presentation has been an enlightenment about what this policy system is about. But before I complete everything, let's look at the 5-year strategic plan, how Supreme Investment Policy System can give you 32,000 CEDIS in the span of 5 years. Now, if you are a student and you are in level 100 and you do Supreme Investment Policy System, let's say you invest 1,000 CEDIS in level 100, our policy cumulative interest at the end of the year without withdrawal is another 1,000 CEDIS. So maybe if you do 1,000 in January, at the end of January you have another 1,000 to make it 2,000. So in level 100, when you do 1,000, at the end of level 100 you have 2,000 CEDIS. Then if you invest that 2,000 in level 200, at the end of level 200 you have 4,000 CEDIS. If you invest that 4,000 in level 300, at the end of level 300 you have 8,000 CEDIS. If you invest that 8,000 CEDIS in level 400, at the end of level 400 you have 16,000 Ghana CEDIS. And if you invest that 16,000 CEDIS at the beginning of your service, your national service, at the end of your national service, you have 32,000 CEDIS. So this is the strategic plan that we want to give to especially students on campus, that you can be able to build 32,000 Ghana CEDIS after 5 years on campus, and you will not come out to become frustrated. You will not come out and come and join Fix the Country movement, and you come and join Unemployed Graduate Association. All these things, you would have that financial stability and cushion to do what you want. So if you want to go to school, travel outside, you can travel. If you want to do your further studies, you can do the further study because you have money to do it. If you want to start your own business, you have money to do it. If all of us had this opportunity, maybe we would have migrated from this level that we are. So this is a very nice opportunity that Supreme Group of Businesses wants to give to you. So I would want you to take your time to listen to this presentation and ask for a contract document to read through, and then when you are okay with it, then we can take it from there. So that is the whole summary of Supreme Investment Policy System. God richly bless you for your time and your audience. I know we are going to link up for more details. I'll be waiting for your questions too as well. All right, have a good day.